they only found maybe 4, I think it was 4 other known diagnoses like this. We were all in the same age range, and it's just weird. And only one other person was on a similar treatment to me, and they only made it 9 months. I, however, praise the Lord, I am at about 1.5 years. Woo! Now, it's not easy. I have lots of side effects, and I feel like I'm either sleeping, feeling sick, or taking care of my kids, and that's it. But I do what I have to do for my kids. But for a while, I'll be honest, I was wondering, because I was seeing a lot of the typical people who had typical stage 4 melanoma on these type of treatments that I'm on, saying that for whatever reason, after a while, of maybe 1 year or 2 of being on the meds, because it's really toxic, either because of that and them having to stop, or other reasons they had to stop. After they stopped, it kept actually working, and they were either just stable or no evidence of disease for years. And I kept wondering, am I going to be one of them? Am I lucky like that? Or, like, how do I know if I am? I'm sitting here doing it, and how would I ever know? Hi everyone. You probably see a new added someone in our video. I'm trying to bribe him with letting him see outside our front window and with a few treats. So hopefully the lighting is okay. This is my cat Dougie, and I know Dougie sounds like a boy, which actually we thought Dougie was a boy for like the first 8 months of his life. And then when we went and had him have another of his updates for the doctor, we found out Dougie was no longer a he, but a she. And we couldn't change her name. She wouldn't answer to anything else, so we just say Dougie. It kind of confuses people at times. Number one, they think we're saying doggy. But anyway, this is our little cat, Dougie. So, if you're new to my channel, I want to say thank you for coming. I'm not sure if you've seen any of my other videos, but a quick update, or a quick tell you who I am. I'm Tammy. I am a single mother of 3 kids, and I am on my second fight with cancer. My first one was when I was 36 years old. I had just left my ex-husband, and I found out I had stage 3B breast cancer, went through 2.5 years of treatment. And then, I have a whole video all about that, and I will either log it down there or up there or somewhere. So that is my first diagnosis. And then when I was just about celebrating my almost 5 years, it was I think 4 years of cancer-free NED, I was having symptoms, and I was trying to work, and it was really affecting my job, and it got to the point where I was taking off too many days, and I decided to make that, oh, hi, Dougie. Make a plan. Hold on, he's going to get in the way if I don't give him some more treats. Dougie, come here. More? Oh, what you got? Yeah, come on. One moment, please. Right here. No, no, no. Right here. Right here. Right there. You want him? Oh, he sees the little thing. Up here. There you go. So, getting back to the story, I decided to take what I thought was going to be a short break from my job and figure out what was going on. That short break turned into a pretty long break, and in February of 2016, I finally had a scan, and they found a very large tumor in my mediastinum. Let's just say diagnosis after diagnosis, misdiagnosis, 3 months of being on the wrong med and it getting out of control. I was finally diagnosed with a very rare mediastinal metastatic melanoma with no skin involvement that had spread to my lungs and my sternum, broke my sternum because it grew right through my sternum. Anyway, I wanted to give an update. I was receiving treatment. I ended up going on immunotherapies, and I did I do immunotherapy for a while, but I had the maximum amount of that one. And when I was on the two of them, I was receiving wonderful treatment. I saw the largest amount of my shrinkage in that point. And then it took a while before I saw it, but I got it. And then once I had my maximum doses of the one medicine, I went down of the other one, having it every other week, which my side effects are horrible and I hate them. I know I did a thing on my melanoma, but I'm not sure if I actually did a video on actually like what it's like to have the treatments and my side effects. I probably will be doing that soon. But basically it's not as bad as chemo for most people. For me, it's pretty hard, like for a few days, and then it seems like right as soon as I am back to normal and I've had like 3 or 4 days of normalcy, it's time for treatment again. But it did get me in much better shape. The tumor that, my mediastinal tumor that I had caused blood clots, fluid in my lungs, fluid in my heart, and it grew into like my heart and around some of my veins that went into my heart. So it was really dangerous. And they only found maybe 4, I think it was 4 other known diagnoses like this. We were all in the same age range, and it's just weird. And only one other person was on a similar treatment to me, and they only made it 9 months. I, however, praise the Lord, I am at about 1.5 years. Woo! Now, it's not easy. I have lots of side effects, and I feel like I'm either sleeping, feeling sick, or taking care of my kids, and that's it. But I do what I have to do for my kids. But for a while, I'll be honest, I was wondering, because I was seeing a lot of the typical people who had typical stage 4 melanoma on these type of treatments that I'm on, saying that for whatever reason, after a while, of maybe 1 year or 2 of being on the meds, because it's really toxic, either because of that and them having to stop, or other reasons they had to stop. After they stopped, it kept actually working. And they were either just stable or no evidence of disease for years. And I kept wondering, am I going to be one of them? Am I lucky like that? Or, like, how do I know if I am? I'm sitting here doing it, and how would I ever know? And I was wondering about that. But around Christmas time, this past Christmas, I'd gotten sick before Christmas, I guess the month before. And it ended up that I had to cancel my appointment, and then I decided, well, I am not going to have enough energy to go shopping as a mom for Christmas, a single mom, and I decided I would not call and make an appointment until after Christmas. And I did end up being able to do it, thank God. I was really tired, but I made it through, and the day after Christmas, I was at my mom's house, and I got sick again. And turned out a snow day. We weren't supposed to be on the road, so I had to cancel that one. And then a few weeks, like the next time, we're like 50-50 custody, and so I try to schedule it so when I have them, I'm feeling better. Or it's a weekend where I can rest more if I'm not feeling good. So after the snow, I was wondering, well, maybe this is God's way of saying, Tammy, maybe you should take a little break, and we'll see if the treatment's working. Well, next thing I know, my daughter and I share a room, and she had made a comment to me. I woke up one morning, my arm seemed really kind of big. And when I had the tumors before, she used to say, Mom, you're fat arm, you have a fat arm. And it took about 1 year for that to finally get back to normal and me to get off of those meds. But she's like, Mom, it looks like your arm's fat again. And I'm like starting to notice it. Then it got bigger and bigger. So I started, oh no, do I have another blood clot in my arm? So it turned out I ended up going, the doctor said go to the emergency room. I went. They did part of the scan, but not the whole thing. But they started worrying about something else and more focusing on that. But at the end, they didn't finish the end of the scan, but they released me saying, well, this isn't what the other thing wasn't what we thought. We didn't really see any kind of clots, so it's probably from your breast cancer treatment In the beginning, after having that, I did have lymphedema, which is where, because of having so many lymph nodes removed, although you can have it with just one too, and you can have it like nowhere at all, like for 5 years, and then all of a sudden it show up. For me, I had it right after, and I had it pretty bad, and I had a lymphedema sleeve, and I had lymphedema therapy for a while. I haven't really had any issues whatsoever for the past 2 years, so I was more leaning, and what was going on now seemed more like the blood clot rather than the lymphedema. But when I left there, they're like, well, it must be your lymphedema. Something made me think no, and they said, why don't you just put your old one on? And I couldn't find it anyway, but the one part of my sleeve that I could find, I didn't wear it because something was telling me this is not what this is. So anyway, another week went by, and I was going to schedule my appointment again, and my son ended up having a problem with bleeding, a certain bleeding issue, and so that day I wanted to get him in to see the doctor. Like any mom, you put your kids before you. I put my kids before me, and I made that appointment instead of making my appointment. But like a day later, my daughter and I, like I said, we share a room, and sometimes she's 13 or 11. Sometimes we change it at the same time or whatever. And we were changing one evening, and she said, Mom, it looks like I have the one mediastinal tumor that, like, my friends, my sister, and one of my doctors said they could see, but I never was able to see it. And she said, Mom, I can see your tumor here again, the bump. And I'm like, what? And I look down, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm like, I could see it, which kind of scared me. And so I waited another 2 days, and I still could see it. And so I decided I better make my appointment because I'm not going to scare my kids. They really didn't realize I was missing that many because I was already, like, there's so many things going around, and my kids were catching them, I would catch them, and then they wouldn't have it for a while, but I'd be sick, and then the other one would catch it, and then I'd catch it again. So I'd always be the first one and the last one to catch it, and I usually kept it the whole time. So none of them knew that I wasn't, but I'm sure if they found out, they would have been upset with me. So I made the appointment that next morning, and I stuck with it, and I did my treatment, and she kind of she's like, Tammy, come on, what's going on? You missed all those days. And I filled her in, and I even told her how I was feeling about how would we even know if I'm one of the lucky ones and the treatment has a full reaction if I don't know, if I'm taking it all the time. And so I said that side, and then I said, but I did really have, I also had 3 deaths that I had to go to funerals for. So, and she's like, well, you can go around, there's other things, you got to make these appointments. And I'm like, yeah, but I try to go around my schedule with my kids. And she's like, you're not going to be here for your kids if you don't do this. And I said, I know. I said, well, I think what this is, and I told her, I said, do you see this more? Because my daughter says she sees it. She said, you know what? I don't think I ever was visibly able to see it lately. In the beginning, yeah, but not lately. She goes, but this just shows that you have to really take this serious, and you have to put yourself first. You can't just stop taking the med. Evidently, for me, it was like not a good thing to know that the cancer was still growing, and it grew that quickly, started growing that quickly. But for me, it was also like a confirmation. I don't have to worry. Am I one of those people? I am one of those people. I am not one of those people. I am not lucky enough where I can stop it, and years later, at least right now, it doesn't seem like that. She did say, she's like, well, let's get you back on treatment and get some more of the medicine in you, and then we'll get you another scan. But anyway, so I just wanted to give you guys that update. I did notice one thing. When I went back, they told me that the regiment that I'm on, they were able to change some of the protocol where my treatment is actually shorter. Like, I'm not there as many hours when I have my actual treatment. But oddly enough, my body had a hard time taking it. Like, the next day I was already really tired and sick the very next day. So like for 4 days straight, I was really sick. I was not good at all. And I called the doctor, and they said, well, it's, in the beginning when you first had your immunotherapy, you started that, it was hard for you, so maybe your body's just trying to get used to it again like in the beginning, but you know, no one else has mentioned that this little change in the protocol has made that big of a difference, but I've always been weird when it comes to medicines. So, but I wanted everyone to know my update with that, and then I do want to say that I still haven't obviously gotten my treatment on my teeth. There was a moment where they, of course, changed my insurance again. It keeps going back and forth. Well, it was going back and forth between Medicaid and Medicare. And I did have an appointment, and I was excited thinking that Saturday, like, I have to see the oral surgeon first, and then usually they schedule you for that weekend or the week after. I was thinking, yay, I finally get to have these teeth out, and I get there, and they said, we don't take your insurance. I'm like, what? I said, I've been here, like, 3 times this year. You already did this. And then they're like, well, we don't take it. And I'm like, well, what about this one? No, we don't take it. So I went home, tried to figure out what was going on. Maybe they switched me off of one, and that wasn't the case because I looked it up on the website for Medicare. It has them listed as someone they work with, and they do take their insurance. I even called, and they said, yes, we take the insurance. I told them, I'm like, I was there, and you guys told me you didn't take the insurance. She said, I'm sorry. I said, last time I had to wait 3 months for this appointment. I'm going to have to wait that long again? Like, unfortunately, yes. So I originally was waiting thinking if I have a blood clot, they're going to be putting me on meds that I can't have surgery, like a dental surgery. So I was waiting, trying to wait to see if it is actually the blood clot. And my doctor, I see my doctor next week. They have me on the same day, which is like Friday, but I'm actually going to ask them to push it to Monday so my kids don't get, you know, I don't have them as many hours a week sick. So when I do see her next, she's, I think, going to check it out, measure again, and possibly get me another scan. I don't see me getting in there between now and then. I would love to try to go in, but I found out one thing that's really sucks is that I even have 2 more teeth. So I think that's like 4 teeth that I have to still have removed before I even have this to get the actual dentures. And it's just frustrating. But thank God for Dr. Neville for offering to do this. And there's all these changes going on with, you know, people who don't have under the right amount of number of hours watched on YouTube. I have plenty of those. However, I am pretty far under the 1,000 mark. I don't know how bad that's going to affect me. I really haven't set up all the way for the monetizing because they needed some other information. They sent me the code to put into the computer. You know, they send it to you on in the mail, and I did that, and there was like, I kept putting the number in. They kept saying it wasn't right. I took a picture, showed them I was doing it right. I don't know whatever happened because I never heard back. I even sent them a few emails and as many people I could contact, but it didn't seem easy to find anyone I could contact. But there was a website I mentioned something on too, and then I got this happening. So I never was really monetizing anyway, but I would like to get up to there. I would like to get up. There were some awesome features that I was using to see like where, who was watching and how I could go towards making my actual channel better. I don't think I'll be getting any of those things, so you guys wanna, I'm gonna be kind of kicking it up. I said that originally that I was gonna really quickly go put a whole bunch of videos out, try to get my numbers up, but then I got sick, and now I'm, you know, and then I got put on the new treatment again, not new treatment, protocol, which kicked my butt again. So I don't know what it looks like, but I'm going to continue to make these, and they're going to be more focused on not just stories. I'm going to start doing, like, interviewing my kids, asking them what they think, how they, what they felt about me with my cancer, and what they feel now, what things are that help him, or help them, and what they feel other kids could, people can say to other kids, and going into details of other stuff. So, but in the meantime, I wanted to update everybody. I think that's everything I wanted to say. And if you have not already subscribed, please subscribe and hit that bell to get any notifications. And you guys have a nice day, and I always say to my kids, like, everybody has this little thing they say at the end or whatever, have a good day or whatever. And I'm like, do I want to do anything like that? Well, I think I'm going to just say what I say to my kids every night when they go to bed. And that is, see you in the AM.